All right, grown-ups, it's just our time. I love the babies, but to help you, I gotta speak my mind. This segment's here to help you grow with book reviews, lessons, and things you'll be glad to know. If your little one's restless or looking to play, send them to my other playlist. The read-alouds there will brighten their day. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Teacher Lady Show. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Behind the Book. I'm Miss Erica, the Teacher Lady, your fairy godparent when it comes to sharing joyful stories and growing young minds. Now, it is Black History Month. Hey, happy Black History Month, y'all. And all this week, we are going to be talking about the Harlem Renaissance. And of course, we're using picture books to be able to do so. So rewinding back to Monday, we had a read aloud on this book. Take a picture of me, James VanDerZee. And today on this Behind the Book review, we will be going over the glows, what it is I think was done well, the grows, what I think could have been done differently, who this book is for, and how to use it to catapult into a conversation around this week's topic, which is the Harlem Renaissance. You ready? Let's grow. Summary in my own words. Take a picture of me, James VanDerZee, is all about the journey of James VanDerZee and how he became a photographer that helped to capture Harlem at this time, okay? So he was one of few photographers at that time with an eye for detail. He made people feel good. He made people look good. He helped to capture moments for history museums, and just overall, it is about his journey as a phenomenal artist. In terms of the take home message for this story, I think it really does make me think about how beautiful it is to follow your dreams and your goals. And so at the beginning of the story, we see James and he wants to be a photographer, but he cannot afford a camera. So he enters a contest and he wins the contest and still doesn't get a proper camera. And so then he's working hard to save up to purchase one. He ends up working as a photo assistant and all of these different things to make his dreams come true, because that is what was important to him. And with him following his dreams, he was able to capture these super historic moments that have meant so much to so many people, me included. And so it's really a take-home message about following what is put on your heart, because you never know where it might land you. In terms of age group, I would say it is a good story for maybe children about 6 years old and up, to be able to talk about some of the things that are discussed, some of the things like James at his photography job was put in the dark room because the owner said that they wouldn't want Black people taking their pictures, and just things that will come up in terms of conversation based questions. But overall, I would say 6 years old works really well. Who this book is for. This is an American history book about a phenomenal photographer, and I don't think there's anybody who should not have it available. I feel like schools should have this book available, classrooms available, at home available. It is just a book that should be available to children as we learn and continue to learn more and more and more about Black history, because Black history is American history, okay? There have been so many contributions, and we want these stories to stay alive. So that means we have to share them. Glows. In terms of glows, there are a few glows that I have for this story. One, I really liked the kind of beginning, middle, and then end of his journey. I feel like the author did a really beautiful job at sharing who he was, at capturing kind of his essence, and just letting us know about what it took for him to be a photographer at a time where very few people had a camera. I also really appreciated the consistent references to the Harlem Renaissance, but it wasn't just that. James took a lot of people's pictures. And one of those subcategories happened to be the Harlem Renaissance, but he really was one of few people that captured poor and rich, black and white, babies and elders. And that was really beautiful as well. And then the last quote is in the back of the book, which I always appreciate. There is more information about who James is, as well as different things that he captured and his talents at that time. This was before all the editing tools we have, all the phone technology. And so I really feel like the author did an amazing job at letting us know who he was and how talented he was. I don't have any grows for this story. It's very straightforward. It's beautiful. It is a beautiful contribution, I feel like, to Black history. I feel like to the Harlem Renaissance. And of course, to keeping James VanDerZee's legacy alive. In terms of the discussion to have with your child, I would definitely talk about the Harlem Renaissance. And if you don't know anything about the Harlem Renaissance, on Friday, I do the thickest deep dive on this topic, okay, over on the Teacher Lady Speaks episode. And so make sure that you check out that episode on Friday, because it will give you information that you can then pass down to your child. But having a discussion about the Harlem Renaissance, having a discussion around, how he was treated at times, and even at the end of the book, everybody now can take pictures, and so fewer people are coming to see him, but his art lived on by way of museums. And so just really talking about the things that you're reading about and how it's making your child feel, I think would be really helpful. But we want our children to know and understand the Harlem Renaissance. It was such a pivotal moment in American history. It's where Black people shared so much art and so much culture, and books like this help to keep that alive. So I'm really grateful for that. Thank you for learning with me and for growing with me and for being part of this book community. Happy Black History Month. Check out the other episodes in this week. If you did not know, I am also an author and illustrator with multiple books. Please check that out, as well as the Empathy Library, which is a pay-it-forward program where I get books to children in need on purpose by way of your generosity, okay? What's special about the Empathy Library is it is intentional. So we give books to children that reflect their identity. Thank you. And until next time, you remember to enjoy the moment or go be a joy in the moment. Bye.